Okay. We just filmed like quite a bit and realized that my mic wasn't on, so we're gonna try this again. Anyways, what is up you guys? It's Katie, and today I'm gonna be talking about living in Alaska because there was a person that commented on one of my previous videos that asked if I would make a video about living up here because I know that not all of you do, and so I thought that I would address kind of some of the questions that get asked and like some of the things that they wanted to know, and yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy it. Also, Nicole is here, she's back. She's been in a lot of my recent videos and that's a fun time, and Nicole also lives here, so she's gonna talk about it with me. Yep, that's it.
I live here.
Okay, so the first thing that they had asked about was like city versus wildlife, and there really are only like a couple big cities up here, which like so like the biggest city in Alaska is Anchorage, which is where we live, and there's only about 300,000 people, which like if you're not from up here is about the size of like Pittsburgh or like Toledo if you're in the Midwest, and there's only 2 roads that go out of it, and so like you can go north or
you're stuck.
yeah, so like you can go north or south, but like that's kind of it. But like once you get out of like the city, then it's like pretty much just wildlife. As far as wildlife in the city goes, there are definitely like a lot of moose that you see in like front and backyards, and then if you get like either further out of town or like higher up, there's more like rabbits and bears. And then on the like hiking trails and like bike paths and stuff, it's definitely more common to see those types of things. The bears definitely get into a lot of trash, like you see that on the news quite a bit if there's like a family or whatever that gets into some stuff, and so that's kind of one of the things that like might not be as common in other places. I know in the Midwest there's like a lot of deer that like
love to see a deer.
Yeah, except that they're hit all the time.
Okay,
and like it's like not uncommon to just like they're like, oh, that's a deer on the side of the road and it's dead.
That's so sad.
It is. It's the worst. There's definitely not as much like roadkill up here. I feel like the Fish and Game Service is pretty good with like keeping that off, because whenever I like go south, it's like, oh my god, there are so many dead animals on the side of the road, like why do you leave them there?
And the moose don't actually get hit too often, because everybody who lives here and drives is pretty aware that like, oh, you need to be watching for moose because they're everywhere.
Normally drivers are pretty cautious of the moose, if nothing else, because drivers up here kind of suck. Another thing that a lot of questions get asked about is the weather up here. So like right now it's like the beginning of June and it's like about 60 degrees, which is like pretty average. I think more towards like July and August it gets a little bit warmer. Upper 60s, low 70s is like a really good day up here. Everyone is out in their shorts and t-shirts, which is probably like really weird for a lot of people. And then in the winter it definitely like gets cold. It's normally like mid-teens, like low 20s.
It did get below 0 a lot this winter though, because like it didn't snow a lot, but it got really cold.
Yeah, so the winter definitely does get like a lot colder than some places. If you get like towards the interior, it gets like really cold
in the winter and then really hot in the summer.
Yeah, Fairbanks is like a little bit weird of a situation because it's like situated between like 2 mountain ranges, and so in the summer like all that heat like directs into Fairbanks, and then in the winter it gets really cold. So that's kind of like a weird place to visit. Definitely would recommend going in the summertime so you're not gonna freeze to death.
Okay, I feel like when we say it gets so hot in Fairbanks,
it's like mid-80s is like
mid-80s,
so hot,
which
for
is
us.
so hot. I feel like for people in other places that is like their normal summer.
Yeah, so I mean like Fairbanks, if you just are looking for some like decent weather, I guess, if you're like from the lower 48. Also, a lot of people don't know that that's like what that is.
That's slang for up here.
Oh yeah. Nobody up here like calls the continental US that. It's just the lower 48. And then it normally gets pretty rainy in the fall. Like October is normally like pretty wet before it gets cold enough to snow. The snow definitely, it's been kind of weird the last few years because
climate change is real.
Yeah, it's super weird because some winters will get like a ton of snow. They'll like plow it all up and stuff, and it'll be like really tall.
Still not enough snow to cancel school.
True. That's one thing that is definitely like a problem up here, because I know like down south they'll be like, oh my god, there's like half an inch of snow, we have to cancel school, even though it'll melt in like half an hour.
Yeah, it's snowing and not even sticking, we have to cancel school, but here it's like
2 feet of snow?
Yeah.
You're fine. Write you a pass if you're late to school, but other than that, like,
all right, story time. The one day it snowed like a good foot or so overnight, and I wear Birkenstocks, and I used to walk to school at the time that this happened. When my mom told me it had snowed, you know, in your mind, like as an Alaskan, you're like, oh, it only snowed like a couple inches. That's fine. I can wear my usual footwear. With a foot of snow in your Birkenstock. I was taking a test in one of my classes, and so when I got to school, my socks were soaked, like my feet were freezing, my shoes were soaked too. And so I like was sitting in the back of the room taking my test, and so I like laid out my socks so they would like air out and dry. little.
I feel like it is kind of like a love-hate relationship is with the sun, because in the winter, it like...
Where is it?
There's so little sun in the winter. Like when I go to school at 7:30 in the morning, it's still dark outside, and then by the time we leave, we're like getting home around
it's
like 3 or 4.
Definitely
it's getting
sunny,
dark.
yeah.
Which is definitely like one of my least favorite things about living up here, because
there's like a 2-hour time if you're going to school where you could be outside in the sun, but you have other things to do in that time, and so you get like half an hour.
It's normally like 5 or 6 months where it's dark almost all the time.
And then I know in other parts of like Alaska, like more north, there's like no sun at all.
Way up north they have like a celebration where like they're like, okay, it's gonna be dark for the next 3 months straight, because they're so high up that like the sun,
or like the 24-hour day or whatever, like in the summer it's like bright all the time.
The sun will go down, but it doesn't really get dark. Midnight volleyball games or like baseball games are a big thing.
They just don't sleep.
Another thing that I got some questions on was school, and I'm not exactly sure what this was referring to, but I know that down south there are a lot of places that go from like September to June, and I think that's just because like the weather is like nicest outside of those months, but here we go from like the middle of August to the middle of May, and I think that just because like by the time September rolls around that it is starting to like get chilly. I don't know if that's like the official reason why, because I know that there are some schools like in Hawaii that go like all year round with like more frequent breaks.
I feel like I would like that better. Maybe it's just because I like school, so that might just be a Nicole thing.
Maybe. So you should definitely let me know in the comments when you got out of school, and then like where you live, I guess, or like what region you live in, because I'm not sure exactly like what the reason is for like different schools starting at different times. Another frequent question is what are our favorite local spots, and like local I feel like is kind of like a loosely defined term, because one of my favorite spots is the ice cream shop in Girdwood, which is about an hour drive out of Anchorage. I think it's like 30 some odd miles, but there's a lot of great hiking spots down there too, and you can go like skiing and snowboarding at the ski resort, which is a lot of fun. But the ice cream shop down there specifically, because they have this like blueberry cheesecake ice cream, which is my absolute favorite, so if you're down there, definitely would recommend checking that out, as well as like the hiking spots if you're into that. The Anchorage Museum is another one of my favorites. They've normally got some really cool exhibits going on there.
Are they called rotating exhibits, where they
I think
change them out? Yeah, they have a lot of rotating exhibits that are
they've normally got stuff that'll like travel up here for a couple months. I know that they did a Van Gogh one a couple months ago that was really neat. They did like a big Lego exhibit. I know that there are a lot of like mixed opinions about this, but I really like Talkeetna as like a day trip. It is definitely like a really small place, and so I feel like to spend a lot of time there would be kind of like not super fun. It's like about an hour north of Big Lake, which is like where we've got a cabin at, and so that makes for a really fun day trip. There's a lot of like cute shops and stuff there that you can go check out. Another really fun one, it is a little bit more of a drive though, is Seward. That's about 3.5 hours outside of Anchorage, but I mean really to get anywhere outside of Anchorage you're gonna have to drive a ways. Seward is definitely like one of my favorite spots. Like the docks down there are really fun to just kind of like go and look at all the different boats, and then there's like the beach down there, which I mean if you can call it like it's like a beach, not
it doesn't get warm.
not great to swim at, but it is fun to like go down there. We've done a couple picnics down there and stuff, which is like always fun to go do, especially if it's like a nice day out. And then they've got the Sea Life Center, which is all like rescue only, so there's no like which like that's really good. So it's more like a rehabilitation center.
It's so nice,
which is great.
There. The seals are so nice.
Also, you guys are probably like 110% done with hearing me talk about Pilates, but it is my favorite spot personally. I don't know if there are any Pilates like other places. There definitely could be, and I'm just like missing them. But that's like my favorite coffee shop.
Not a specific Pilates either.
Yeah, no.
Katie Austin is inhabiting every Pilates shop in Anchorage until you see her at a specific Pilates.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of a Schrodinger's cat situation going on.
She's in every single one.
Yep.
Until you see her at a specific one.
Yep.
I just think that's like the funniest thing I've ever heard.
That's like my personal like I love it. Another one that I know is only over like the 4th of July weekend is the Forest Fair in Girdwood. There's like a lot of local artists that like set up booths and stuff down there, and there's like a ton of good food and like music that plays, and that's a really fun one that people like to go to. So if you're up here for 4th of July weekend, that is definitely something that would be like fun to check out.
The state fair is kind of fun. I don't when does that start? Like,
I think August? That's like end of August.
End of August into like September.
Yeah, I think so. That's like kind of a classic one. I mean, I feel like I've never really been to any other state fairs, and so I'm not sure like how it compares to some other ones, but there's like some sketchy rides and some like really good food. And so if you're into like spending the extra money to like go get some high calorie content food.
And there's some cool like booths and stuff where local creators like sell their like sweatshirts. Like a big trend a couple years ago was like these tie-dye hoodies that like got sold at the fair and other like events like that. So everyone seems to have one of those. We have them because we went together. It's only super fun the first couple times you go because then it's just the same stuff over and over again, but it's a classic.
Other than that, I mean, like there's a lot of construction in the summer, definitely. There's kind of a joke that like Alaska has 2 seasons, winter and construction, which is definitely true. Like while we were driving up here, there was like a lot of it, which I mean is kind of a pain, but it is also just kind of something that you deal with because if it's not warm enough, then like you can't really do any road work.
And so for the like 3 months that it's nice enough to do road work, they have to take advantage of it. But I just hate having to like sit through construction on my way to my house.
Oh yeah, true.
Like the road to my house is under construction. You have to sit there for like 10 minutes sometimes waiting for them to give you the go to like go through because they're widening the road. What's the point of widening the road? Okay, I'm not gonna just start ranting because like I don't think the municipality of Anchorage is gonna be watching this, but like why?
I'll drive
What's the point?
I drive up to her house a couple days a week, and like probably 4 out of 5 times I'll end up like sitting there waiting and be like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm gonna be like a little bit late because there's construction by your house.
Whenever somebody tells me they're like on the way, like I'm so far away from all my friends anyway that I have to factor in like the 20-minute drive, and then you just add on another 10 minutes because of the construction.
Delayed trends is like another thing up here. So when you have like a chain clothing store or like a restaurant or something, it always ends up getting sent up here last, or like you get like the extras that nobody else wants.
10 years later than when it was actually big. I mean, that's a big estimate, but like there are some chain restaurants that have definitely been in the lower 48 for a long time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, we don't have a Sonic.
Oh yeah, no, there's no Sonic.
They show the Sonic commercials.
Yeah, there are a lot of Sonic
I'm heated about.
Yeah, I know that Smashburger is big in a lot of other places, and we just got one of those
that
pretty recently, like in the last year or so, I would say. We just got a Krispy Kreme up here, which was like a big one.
Should we say like no igloos?
Oh yeah, there are no igloos. I swear, every time I go to California, someone asks me if we live in an igloo,
or even just talking to people online, they're like, igloos, as if that's like a funny and original joke. And
it's like, not. Stop asking us if there's igloos up here. Like,
and there's like probably, there's igloos like farther up north, but it's not like common.
Yeah, nobody lives in igloos. They're like hunting shelters if you're like living up north and you like do hunting like for survival.
And they're actually warm. Like, I mean, they insulate themselves. Like, it's not like you're in there just like freezing with your like polar bear coat on.
No,
like,
that's fake.
Nothing like with your moccasins or whatever.
That's not real. It's starting to rain, so I think that is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to let me know by giving it a big thumbs up and subscribing down below, and letting me know, again, where you live and when you got out of school, because I want to know. And hopefully we'll see you guys next time. Bye! What? Oh. Nice.
Got it.